want to see my new phone?
Of course.
Duh. Isn't that pretty?
She fancy.
You know what? The guy at the store picked this case for me. He like shows me.
Really?
He's like, I think this is you. I'm like, yeah.
It seems high bling for you, to be honest.
It's like a unicorn skin. I don't know what the actual name is, but that's what the Holo Taco girl calls it. And I'm gonna have to ask Amber the proper like match for her nail polishes because that way I can match my nails to my phone case.
Fabulous.
Isn't it though?
Hey, everybody. I'm Katie.
I'm Becky, and this is Live, Laugh, Lorcana.
That was a good anecdote to start the show. I was gonna roast you for this face. You know, you listen to podcasts, I know that, but usually when you listen to a podcast, like they start with like an anecdote or like a casual story to start the episode, and last week you're just like cheating.
Oh, that's funny. I'm full of anecdotes. I will start compiling them, and they'll be better than my phone case is sparkling, let me tell ya.
Yeah, that's good. You started with cheating last week. I moved it to later in the episode. Did you notice?
No. What do you have for an anecdote? You said you were gonna roast me. Is that your anecdote?
That's a great anecdote. I'll continue roasting you. Can I read a
Okay.
text message that I got from you?
Sure. I have no idea what this could be. It could be any number of things.
This is a text message I got from Becky. Hey, so dot dot dot. What's top decking? Sounds dirty, TBH.
I'm not wrong. It does.
But now you know what top decking is.
And I'm going to explain it for the people so they
Yeah.
don't go on Urban Dictionary and get really confused. So, top decking is when you are playing your TCG and you have no more cards in your hand. So, every turn, you're picking up a card and you have to play with bump, 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 the top of your deck
And has that happened to you before?
all the time. I think it happens to everybody, doesn't it? Is it not supposed to happen? Because it happens to me a lot.
It definitely happens a fair amount, but less so if you're playing, say, Ruby Amethyst that has a ton of card draw.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely notice it happens less with an amethyst deck and more with, say, a sapphire deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I heard a couple people talk about it, including Rebecca of the Illuminary, and I definitely bet she has a video on it. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
She explains all the good terms. If you need a term defined, check out Rebecca.
We got spoilers.
Fresh spoilers. We got 3 new cards: Emerald, Ruby, Amber.
I mean, the one that's like super noteworthy to me is the Ursula. Everyone's really excited about that because it's like an emerald. And when you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand, it discards a song of their choice. That's
Yeah.
exciting because there are a lot of songs that we hate between the two of us.
Yes. All my least favorite cards or songs, really. Wow. Yeah, it's super dirty. It's gonna shake up the meta, people.
Do you have a list this week?
Oh, yeah, right here. Let me fumble through my papers.
There are no papers. I see no papers.
Well, we discussed things we were going to talk about. I don't know. It's kind of heavy. Do you not want us to?
I love heavy topics. That's why we're here,
Okay.
right?
Oh, well, somebody has to. I don't know.
I know how we can start because Star City Games Con
Oh, that was it. That was my.
Cincinnati happened. There was a 2K and the top 8 picture for the people in the 2K came out and we exchanged text messages because it was just a lineup of white men.
The white guys do have a strong hold on the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that opens us up to a bigger discussion, which we have a lot here on this podcast because we're always trying to encourage women and non binary people to be part of this space. Also, POC would love to see more of that as well. And I guess it comes down to like, why is it that these spaces are still so dominated by white men? And I was like thinking about this and trying to come up with like why it is this way. When did Magic come out? Like at least like 40 years ago, right?
30.
30. Okay. So 30 years ago, why was this something specifically that white men were drawn to and nobody else?
I don't know. But I know there's a perpetuation to it because when I look at that picture and see like 8 white men, I'm like, you know what? Probably I don't belong there. So
Well, we know that that's not true. Like you specifically, you're a champ. Everybody knows it.
no, we it's not true for anybody. We all belong there.
I know, but I'm just saying, like somebody who's like very new, like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine you're a, 20-year-old girl who looks to be doing this and like you don't see anybody that looks like you doing it. And that's why representation matters in every facet of our society.
I don't understand why women don't show up to game stores. I don't. Because even like what is it, episode 6, we sat here and we bragged about our LGS and how we had like 40% women going to our leagues. It's gone down. It's consistently gone down. And there are very few women who are still going to league, and I don't understand it. Like, it's just one of those things that I don't have answers for, and I don't even really understand the problem, but I want more women to play. So, like, I don't know. If anybody has any ideas, like, freaking come on the show and tell us.
Please help us.
Please help us solve the problem of women in TCGs. Cause,
I like wish I had a sociology degree just for this conversation.
right?
It's not like I'm using the degree I got anyway. I could have actually done something with a sociology degree right now.
Swap it out. Easy peasy.
I feel like that wasn't a very productive conversation.
It wasn't. Maybe somebody will have answers when we
I doubt
publish
it.
this.
It's such a huge, like, it's more than just one person can solve. Do we have a breakdown of like how many of our viewers are men and women? Is that analytics we get?
We get it on Spotify. We don't get it through Apple or Google. And Apple's our biggest.
What's Spotify?
Spotify is 70% male and 30% female.
I don't hate those numbers.
Our non binary friends must not listen on Spotify. Yeah, I wonder what other podcasts are for Lorcana.
If you have a Lorcana podcast, please tell us your ratios. Thanks.
Yeah, I think they have to be less women like that.
I don't know.
If there is a Lorcana podcast with a higher female ratio than ours, that would be surprising.
Let's find out what they're doing, if so.
Yeah, for real. I mean, 30 is much higher than I see, out in
In
the
the
wild.
community. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I get that. Yeah, that's interesting. I love statistics, don't you?
I sure do. Let's talk about League real quick. I've been to League a few times. League, even our casual league, like our super casual league, is 90% meta decks. Like, it's just everybody's on meta decks. I want to say it's like 3/4 ruby amethyst. I don't even know. There's a bunch of emerald steel also going around, and some amber steel, and even some, amethyst steel. But it's just like a ton of ruby amethyst.
Are those people having a good time? I just feel like if you're playing what everyone else is playing, you're probably constantly playing mirrors. I feel like, I don't know. Are you having fun? Tell me, are you having fun, Ruby Amethyst players?
I mean, it's a fun deck. I liked playing it. I just get bored very easily, so I wanted to move on. But
Interesting.
and there's like we do the point system at our league, so there's nothing to even win. And you can get points just for playing game. So like when the 3 fixed rounds finish, like people just stay and jam games because they're trying to earn points. They'll be like, who wants to play? I need to get 3 more games in or whatever.
Yeah, and also just to reiterate, they are hoping to get lots of points for a chance to get a promo pin. Doesn't matter if you max out points, you're not guaranteed anything.
Right. Because they give out promos like 3 times a season, once a month. So they only give out like 2 of each pin when they do it. So even if you're maxed out, they still like do a wheel to see if you actually get it. And 23 people maxed out because people will just stay and grind. Where they come in, they have to get their 10 stickers.
Gaming grind culture is confusing to me. You know Pokemon Sleep?
I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah, it's just like an app that tracks your sleep and you can catch Pokemon. And like people try to grind that game, and I'm like, you're missing the point. It's to create healthy sleep schedules. Anyway, sorry.
No, I mean that's a good example. I just feel like that's like the nature of people. Like they try to optimize whatever they're doing.
We will be talking more about meta decks further down in our listener questions.
Yeah, I mean, we had thought we were going to have a guest on this week. It ended up not panning out, but as always, our listeners came through, and we have a billion listener questions as well.
Do you want me to do them or do you?
Always.
Me always? I don't know. B Squared asks, if there was a food that you could taste from any of the animated Disney films, what would it be?
Okay, so my answer for a long time for this would have been Ratatouille from Ratatouille because they always make it look and sound so good. But then I had Ratatouille in real life. And even though I'm sure my version was not as good as Remy's, not a fan. Not a fan of Ratatouille.
Really? It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like vegetables and the flavor profile is a little basic.
It's just it's supposed to be comfort food. It's delicious.
Okay.
Anyway, what's your new answer?
I have two beignets from Princess and the Frog and
Mm.
the pesto pasta that they eat in Luca. That looks really good too.
Oh, cute. Beignets from Princess and the Frog was probably going to be my answer as well. Do you remember when we were in Disney World and we stayed at the French Quarter Hotel and they would have beignets there and they were amazing?
Hmm.
And then they stopped making the traditional beignets because they wanted them to look like Mickey's, and they make ones that look like Mickey Mouse's face, and they are not it.
Oh, really? They're not as good.
No, they're like not as fluffy because they have to make it like that stupid little shape instead of being like an organic sort of, dough bit.
How disappointing. That is so
It is.
sad.
I'm devastated. Yeah, but very fun. We love Mickey shaped things in general though, but not that. They went too far.
That actually made me think of an anecdote that I can tell you on the air and get your reaction.
Okay.
Do you know how I signed up for a half marathon?
Yeah, and you told everybody in the Discord, so now that's you're committed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the only way I can commit to fitness is by putting down a non-refundable payment. So, like, sign up for a half marathon. I have no choice but to prepare for this, and it's working. I'm following my training plan, which I got free from the Run Disney website. Anyway,
Wait, you're half marathoning Disney?
no, I'm half marathoning the Pittsburgh half marathon. I just Run Disney uses Jeff
Oh, right.
Galloway as a run coach, and I like his plans. And they are free on the Run Disney website if you ever want to walk or run a half marathon. But okay, so we're doing the Pittsburgh half marathon, and it's like, hey, we're gonna be in walking shape. So how about 2 weeks later we go to Disney World? So we're going to Disney World 2 weeks after
I
the
thought you
half
were
marathon.
saving all your vacation for Lorcana.
You know what? I was trying, but then they haven't announced anything, and I want to go to Disney World and eat bad beignets. So,
I don't mean to poo-poo your amazing ideas, but you went on a Disney cruise last month and you're going to Disney World. And I'm sorry, I'm the one who has children. Like, what is this? Are you taking the parents there too, Katie?
that's a little bit too much walking for them. But, dear Rebecca, your son cried when we sang him happy birthday because it was too loud. So, I just don't think he's going to have fun at Disney World.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm just saying. What kid isn't tantruming in Disney World? Let's be honest.
Yeah, they all are. No, I can't wait to go with your kids. They are probably too young to enjoy it right now.
They are free to take, though. They're free at Disney.
It's true.
So,
I'm just gonna go and scope it out for you.
oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
No, you don't. You hate me.
I don't hate you. No, I'm very excited for you. You have run Disney marathons before, though. Half
Yeah,
marathons.
the Princess Half Marathon I've done.
Beautiful.
I was just watching people like TikToks from the Walt Disney World Marathon, and that one starts later. So, like, people will actually stop and run rides. Like, they'll stop and run Everest, they'll stop and run Rock and Roller Coaster, and they'll pick up a margarita at the Mexico Pavilion before crossing the finish line. So, if I ever do a full marathon, it will be in Disney World.
Nice. I love it. I mean, what better way to hydrate than a margarita
That's what your
after
body
running
needs after running
after
20.
running 26 miles? Guess the salt would be helpful.
Oh,
Okay.
electrolytes.
Okay. That also went off the rails a little. Okay. Our good friend of the show, Jake from 40 Born says, when is the LL meetup happening? Live Laugh Lorcana, that's us. And why is it at SCG Con Atlanta?
So I guess the 40 Born Boys will be at SCG Con Atlanta,
The 40 Born Boys and the Live, Laugh, Lorcana ladies.
but we won't. We probably won't be there.
Oh yeah, you'll be in Disney World.
Not for then. I definitely want to do an LLL meetup if we ever can, but it'll probably be at the first fan event.
Where will you be? And why isn't it Atlanta? Let's table it.
Okay.
Put a pin in it. It's a maybe.
It's a
That's what I'm
maybe.
hearing. That's what I'm hearing from this.
Okay, well, apparently Becky might be sending me, but I don't know how many other Live Laugh Lorcana people would. Which brings me actually to the reason I kept this question in. Do you think you'll go to any Lorcana events this year?
If I can, yeah.
Really? You'll go? I wasn't sure if you would.
Why not?
Because you have small children.
You know what, Katie? You act like that's just a huge inconvenience.
You know what, Becky? Sometimes you come to League and you play your 3 half-hour rounds, and they say, okay, it's time for multiplayer. And you say, I must get home to my children. That is what you say.
Yeah, because I do need to get home to my children.
You can understand why I don't think you're going to go to a big convention.
If I can get the proper childcare support, I can do it. So take that up with our parents.
Okay.
Martin Karp asks, I was listening to Podcana and someone had mentioned that on Pixelborn the win rate is about 60% to whoever goes first, whether it's intentional or not. How would you suggest fixing the game to make it more balanced for those going second? The Podcana gang had mentioned maybe player two gets one or two lore. I think it's a neat idea, but would love to hear everyone's thoughts.
60% is high.
That's very high. That's higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I remember hearing stats like 3 months ago and it was like 54%. So the fact that it's up to 60 is a bit shocking.
Can you believe I used to intentionally go second?
Do you still do that?
No. What a dip hole I was.
You've learned so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. This solution of
Lore handicap.
the solution of the lore handicap, like, kind of makes sense. I was like brainstorming other solutions, like the second person can egg twice, or the first person can't play a character, but like all of these are kind of inelegant. For me, like at the core, this is exactly the same as Magic, right? Like one person plays first, one person draws first. I just kind of have confidence that as we get more cards, this is going to even out.
That's kind of what I hope as well. I don't hate the double inking though.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because we're not games designers, so I don't know if we.
Above our pay grade. Rebecca of Lorcana Illuminary, friend of the show. I guess everybody's a friend of the show. I can stop saying that. As the game grows and the audience for the game expands, I'm wondering how you envision the Lorcana community, both online and in person, begin to foster more space for casual players and fans. Or do you think it's already welcoming enough as it is? Do you see a need for change? There's lots and lots and lots of competitive focused content creators and content out there, and it feels, especially online and with different Lorcana events, it's really geared towards competitive players, and the community is largely being led by a majority of competitive male players. What are some changes you would like to see in the Lorcana community at large to be more welcoming to non-competitive / casual players and fans?
This is a hard question. I 100% agree that right now that the Lorcana community is dominated by competitive. I don't feel like it's welcoming to casual. I can only speak from my personal experience, but casual people have disappeared from our league. Everyone is on meta decks. A lot of the women and children that used to come to our leagues don't anymore. I feel like all of the big content creators, the ones that get like lots of views, it's usually for competitive content. I don't know. What do you think?
I would definitely agree. I feel like the ideas are there. Like, I feel okay, in general, I think a lot of competitive players think this is a very welcoming space and like very, yeah, community's great up in here. But it's like a little bit out of touch, perhaps, what the casual player is looking for.
I think this is something Magic does a lot better than Lorcana right now, that there actually is a lot more casual content for Magic. There's like a YouTube channel called Game Nights where they do multiplayer games with Commander, and they'll do like really dramatic cuts, like and like voiceovers, like explaining what's going on and what they were thinking. Like it's super well produced. And I think because there are so many formats in Magic, there's a natural like dispersion of competitive people to some formats and some nights, and some casual people to like commander nights. That tends to be the casual format, like that or Pauper. So I feel like almost what we need is more things that cater to competitive players, so competitive players don't take over casual league.
You know what? I never thought of that. Like instead of doing more casual stuff that the competitive players jump into, do more competitive stuff so they just
And league is like, yeah, league should be like the casual thing, and do like a win a box, Lorcana win a box on Sunday where you play and the winner gets a box, and then do your Lorcana league where you play for points on Tuesday, like something like that.
I love that.
Also, just like I think having theme nights would be really fun, like encouraging just things, people to do different things outside of the meta. Like have a night where like everybody brings a monocolored deck. Like wouldn't that be fun?
I've always thought about like what I would do for that.
Or like do a three color night or a two movie night, like something different for deck building. And I also think advertising would help at this point, just like Disney Plus to start putting out ads of like families at the kitchen table, like marketing this as like a family night, like friends game night kind of game, to get those people to start playing the game,
Yeah.
instead of more like, oh, look at this competitive tournament, look at these competitive meta breakdown. Like that's the headlines for Lorcana right now, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. And again, it's still the problem where like this is not a game that the average person knows about. So hopefully that will change and things will just shake back to where they are supposed to belong. Jedi Geek Girl from iRebel Gaming. Which would you rather see and why? Season 10s, promo cards with 3 to 5 packs, franchise mini set packs, a mini pack and set centered around a franchise with reprints and a couple new cards, or Illumineer decks, decks built around an in-universe Illumineer and their colors thematic to them and what they have created. I really wish that they would lean in more to these Illumineers. Like, I want more from them. Martin got a little bit, but we still don't know like anything about anybody else. And I think there should be more of them. And I think I want them to be like a thing that everybody knows about and everyone can like people want to dress up as them. I want there to be like little dolls, Katie. I want there to be like little guys and oh my gosh. Imagine you're 8 years old and you have your little Martin figurine and your everybody else figurines and you like use them and bring your cards out and it would be adorable. I want them branded more.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I do that too because we've seen these tiny glimpses of these characters and they all seem like really cool and really fun, but like it's just I want
But
more.
who are they? I
Hmm.
want more. Hopefully that will change. I hope that's in the works because they're like teasing the story. Just get a little bit every time we get a new set out, but like I want just want some backstory for these people.
Girl, same.
But anyway, what were you thinking?
Yeah, my answer was Illumineer decks even before hearing that. Now you have me more excited about them because like fleshing out the characters by seeing what glimmers they're summoning. I love that.
Oh,
Uh,
and then hold on, sorry.
go
This is
ahead.
so important. And then there's like a BuzzFeed quiz where it's like, which Illuminati are you? And that's like your whole personality forever. Okay, go
Oh
ahead.
my gosh, brilliant! These are the things that we
There's
need.
gonna be fan fiction? Okay, go ahead.
That you right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because all of the reasons you said, plus I love a theme deck just in general. They're fun. And like we've talked about structure deck tournaments in the past, and the starter decks just like kind of aren't so perfected as to be like a fun structure deck tournament. Like if we could just, have another way to have a sealed kind of tournament where we just open Illumineer decks and play them, that'd be fun.
That'd be really cute. I like that idea a lot. I love it. More Illumineer content, please.
Is that or the decks what you would want product wise of what Jedi Geek Girl said?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sorry.
Oh
It's just,
yeah.
did I not say that? I got distracted. No, but yeah, I think decks like that would be super fun.
Hmm.
And again, you just like use the one that kind of like feels like you know?
Totally. Based on your BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah. And if you get Martin, you're like, ugh, I'm just kidding. Okay, and then who is your favorite Disney villain and why?
You can go first again.
Okay, everybody knows my answer because I can only talk about one movie. I am to Hunchback of Notre Dame what you are to Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, Frollo is the best Disney villain of all time for many reasons. One is he's so scary because he's just a person.
Yeah.
There are people like him in the world. He is just a really bad dude. And like, he's just the worst. He treats people like crap. He's just a hypocrite. He's awful. And that's why he's so scary. And also, I remember when I was like 9 in Disney World, you rarely see a Frollo walking around Disney World, but he came up to me and he put his hand out for me to touch, and I did, and then he wiped it on his robes like I was disgusting and I
Oh,
lived.
it's so good.
Anyway, go ahead. What is yours?
um, okay, I just want to say that's a great answer. And if you haven't seen Hunchback of Notre Dame in a very long time, go listen to Hellfire to see what his vibe is, because it probably went past you as a child.
Just watch the whole movie though.
Yeah, watch the whole movie.
You don't have anything better to do for the next hour and a half. Go ahead.
Great, that's true because it's a great movie. All right, I can't give a one answer. I'm the worst. Okay, I have to give honorary mentions to Yzma and Hades because I love both of them.
That's good ones.
But my favorite is Scar, partially because Be Prepared is my favorite villain song. Love it. And like his rap sheet, like he kills his brother, he convinces his nephew that he murdered his father. Like the that is just that's a villain.
Gaslighting king.
Pretty much. It's like because this was what we just watched on our rewatch. I'm like, this is so dark.
Those are very good answers. I feel like Yzma and Hades are very fun villains.
I actually thought Yzma was going to be yours.
Oh, I mean, that's a great answer, but do I think she's like super well developed and, you know, actually frightening and intimidating? No, but she's a great character for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like them to reset the design of packs for a limited play starting with set 5? Why or why not? If this caused an increase in price, would you be okay with that or not?
Do you understand the why behind this question?
Not at all. Please help.
Okay, so most games that do draft, like Magic, like a Flesh and Blood, they draft with 3 packs. So you only have to buy 3 packs to get in on a draft. The nice thing about needing only 3 packs for a draft is that typically a draft is just supposed to be with 8 people. Even in the tournament rules we saw, it said that a draft pod was 8 people. So that means you can do a draft with a single box of product. For Flesh and Blood, a pack costs $4, so a draft would be $12 at MSRP. Lorcana requires 4 packs for draft because there's only 12 cards in a pack compared to like a 15 or a 16. So
Right.
should they make a 15 or 16 card pack instead? And are you okay with it if it increases the price?
I mean, $20 for draft is like, all right.
24.
Would you pay more for more cards, Katie?
So I definitely think that they need to increase to 14 or 15 or 16 because I love limited. I always want to play limited, but I'm not going to be doing it if I have to pay $24 for a draft. So I would like to see them increase it. If you increase the price of a pack to $7 and you only need 3 packs, we went from 24 to 21. That's better, but it's still not great. Also, you're talking about a product you're marketing like to children and for people to buy children, and I think $6 is too high, especially when Flesh and Blood you can usually like I think Pokemon MSRP is $4.50. You can usually find packs for cheaper. $6 is too high for a pack price already. Like
50 cents per card.
I get it's Disney and we pay a premium for everything Disney, and I feel like we're kind of just used to the Disney tags at this point. But
Mhm.
like $6 is like the upper limit. Like I don't think you can go higher.
Okay, so ready? My offer is more cards, same price. There we go.
That's final offer. That's all I
Take
can
it or
do.
leave it. That's all I can do.
But if the only option is like increasing the price, then no, I don't think they should add more cards to the pack.
Next question is from Jen. She says, I'm here with my first question ever. We love that. We always talk about decks and cards we hate playing against. So, what's a deck you love to play against, whether it's just a fun matchup or you like the challenge or any other reason?
All right, I have the hottest take for you right now.
I love it.
I love to play against Ruby Amethyst. It I really like that deck. It's
Just clarifying, you're not playing Ruby Amethyst.
no. I like the mirror better in set 2, but I still don't love the mirror. I just understand that deck. I played that deck for a while, so like I understand it very well. It has a very elegant game plan. I feel like I know exactly what I need to do to beat that deck. I think playing against Ruby Amethyst is really fun. I also just get really excited to play against any deck combination I've played with. So like Emerald Steel is my personal favorite. So I love when I play against somebody who's on Emerald Steel because I want to see what they're doing. I love it when I get matched into like a new combination I haven't got matched with in a while, or like they're trying to do like a combo I haven't seen somebody try to do before. I just really like playing. As long as the person I play with is nice, I really have no problem playing against their deck. I want to see what it does.
I actually enjoy a mirror.
That's
I do. I
crazy.
really do.
Uh,
I don't know. I feel like we're like doing the same things, and it's just like, who can do this better or get luckier is kind of like where it lends. And I think that's fun.
that's like such an interesting type because like mirror matches are the real skill test. Like who
Right.
knows this deck better? So it's interesting that's your favorite.
Yeah. Well, I know my deck very well. Thank you, because I don't change it very often. And then I also really like playing stuff I don't play often. I get really excited to play something that isn't, Amber Steel or Ruby Amethyst. And even I'm over Emerald Steel now. Like,
Yeah. See, that's the only thing. I do get tired of playing the same deck over and over again.
yeah.
So, like, at this point, it's like I would like to see something other than Ruby Amethyst, but I think it's a fun deck to play against.
Yeah, for sure. Kaput 9432 says, I have a silly question. Let's say it's 2033. We're on our 80th different version of Gaston, and Lorcana suddenly announces a Universes Beyond style crossover for the next set. Assuming that they stick with the non-live action stuff, is there a particular film, television show, or wider universe that you would like to see for that first set? Personally, I would love a Studio Ghibli crossover.
So, from the discussion in the chat, I learned that a lot of people in our Discord love Bluey.
Yeah, I
Very
love that.
popular.
I watch Bluey too.
So, I guess we want to see Bluey just like as the Live Laugh Lorcana Discord server.
Yeah. I was surprised at all the people who said that, but also some really good ideas came out of that. Like I feel like we could make our own Bluey game now and it would be decent.
100%.
So what do you think?
This is tough. Disney owns so much already. Like, I feel like they can do like universes beyond with their own IP, like
That's
Star
true.
Wars, Marvel. Like, I'm such like a Disney person. It's actually hard for me to suggest something outside of the Disney umbrella. I'm gonna
Mhm.
say Mario. I don't know. Mario, Bowser, Mushroom Kingdom.
That's fun. I think that's a good answer for sure. I like that a lot. My first thought that came into my head, Bob's Burgers is my answer. I think that would be a lot of fun. Very cool. It's a very character-driven sort of show, so I feel like there's a lot of meat there, you know. I think Studio Ghibli is also a fantastic answer, like one of the best, probably best answer there could be.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to even think I'm trying to think of like DreamWorks animation stuff. Like, do we get a Shrek? Do we get an Ice Age? Like, what's gonna happen?
I wouldn't hate a Shrek.
Right?
Do I think it's gonna happen? No. I don't think they'll
No,
ever go outside Disney.
no, I don't think so either. But interesting, fun to think about. What cartoons do people watch? Like Fairly Odd Parents? That probably canceled like 12 years ago.
Bugs Bunny,
A classic.
Like Warner Brothers Looney Tunes,
Looney Tunes, yeah. Yeah.
Animaniacs.
Love that. Martin Karp also asked, do you feel like the Lorcana competitive meta is in a good spot at the moment, given there are technically 5 different decks in various top events? Those to my knowledge being Ruby Amethyst Control, Amber Steel Song, Amber Ruby, Sapphire Steel, and Green Discard in Amber or Steel.
Yeah, like Martin Karp is saying, there are at least 5 decks that are making top eights from time to time. So there are a lot of decks you could potentially take to a tournament. But looking at the metadata reports we see week after week, it does seem that Ruby Amethyst is very dominant. So this isn't my first TCG, but it is my first TCG that I started playing at launch. And like we still don't know what's going to happen with rotation, right? But we
Right.
think there probably is going to be rotation. And we're usually going to have at least 2 years of cards to work with. So that's 1,600 cards. And right now we're working with 400. So like I don't have the expectation that it has to be perfect right now. I feel like that's just kind of like growing pains with the new game. And I feel like it's going to correct itself as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I totally get that there are a lot of people who, right out of the gate, want to be like super competitive with Lorcana and have a team and go in big tournaments and win a bunch of money on playing Lorcana. But I just like, I feel like that will come with time.
Yeah, very fair. This is my first game. This is gonna be such a impossible question to answer, I think. But like, is there usually like a handful of decks that are meta, or is it like more? Is there usually like how many combinations are usually like in a meta? Like, and what percentage of people are playing them, I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. There's a best deck meta, there's a 2 deck meta, there's a rock paper scissors meta. There's lots of viable deck metas, and I think everybody has different opinions on which of those are right. From the sense that I get from some of the competitive content I listen to, people are completely over Ruby Amethyst just being so dominant over and over again.
That's legit. But yeah, this game is very much in its infancy, toddlerhood.
That's how I
So
feel. And it's like I'm just gonna go to League and maybe
yeah.
try some wacky ink combos and try to have fun. And that's probably not the answer you're looking for that question. But that's how I feel.
No, I think that's a great answer. Um, I am going to do this question next. Rav Garrett asks, what are behaviors others display during games that you enjoy? For example, how players pass their turn, hold their cards, or what they bring to the table.
Um, it actually doesn't matter that much to me how they pass their turn or hold their cards or anything. For me, it's really just their overall like tone. Like as long as they're pleasant, as long as like there's a casual vibe, like I'm having a good time. I like it if we start with some small talk. It's okay if we don't though. And yeah, just let's keep it light. Let's keep it fun. I like to be able to crack a joke. I mentioned this in the Discord, but if I have like an opponent that's like really stoic and serious and you can tell they're like really competitive TCG guy, when I pass my turn, I'll do like a big news anchor over the top, like back to you. Um they love it. But yeah, like just overall mood. I will say some people you can tell they hate it when they start losing and you can actually feel it in the air. Have you experienced that? Like you just feel the tension.
No, because I don't win.
Right, right. You win plenty.
Yeah, but when I win, well, I've never had a bad time winning. I don't know. People are always nice when I win.
Yeah. What about you?
So I am a lot, I think, when I'm playing. I don't know, like I'm a lot of commentary. Jokes are flying out of my mouth. The self-deprecating humor is there. Like I'm like Johnny Carson up there. And I don't think it's for everybody. Some people are very receptive of it. Other people act like they don't care, but like sometimes I'll get somebody who's like fairly stoic and I get them to loosen up a little, and that makes me happy. I like it when people match my energy because I'm here to have a good time.
What about this? Like, how do you like them to pass their turn? Because we talked about the go being a little too aggressive.
I don't like go. I just say pass turn, and I prefer when people say that. I really like it if they're wearing a hat and they go "milady" when it's my turn.
How many times has that happened to you?
Never, but what if it did?
Oh my gosh. What about how they hold their cards? Do you care?
No, I am the opposite of a stickler when it comes to that. They can have them under the table for all I care. Don't do that, but like,
Same. What
no.
about what they bring to the table? Do you think that means attitude or do you mean physically? Because I actually have a note on physically.
I'm pretty sure he means attitude, but please share.
The only thing I don't like is when people only keep score. This is going to be so controversial. When people only keep score on pen and paper and they don't keep their own score in a way that their opponent can see. Because a lot of the new people at League, they only have something to show their own life. Like they only have like a die or I don't know, some little tracker that they put out so their opponent can see their life, but their opponent's only keeping track on pen and paper. So like they can't see their opponent's life. And I think that's uncool.
And you mean lore, of course.
Lore, of course.
That's legitimate. I haven't thought about that. But yeah, I can only think of one person who tracks paper, and I've not played that person. So I've not experienced that, but I can imagine that being really frustrating. I only bring a die to League. I just use a D20.
I use a phone, so if they're doing pen and paper, I'll just do both of ours on the phone, which is fine for me,
Yeah.
but I always feel bad when I see like a new person with like a D20 and then they can't like see their opponent's life really.
Lore, right?
My God,
Sorry.
somebody stop me.
No, that's legit. That's a really good point. You know what? Never mind.
No, go ahead.
Um, has anybody ever brought Chick-fil-A to the match against you? Because that's a lot.
No, did that happen to you?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people grab food beforehand and they like eat, but if they're not done, they have food. And I don't love it, but I don't care. It just feels like it takes up a lot of space.
That's never happened to me. If you're like eating while you're playing, like I would like have a hard time if they were like touching my deck to like cut it and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
for
I'd be
sure
like,
not.
can you not get greasy chicken sandwich on my deck, please?
That's legit. Okay. Next question. I guess this is for both of us. Originally, it's just written to me. This is from Jake from 40 Born says, Katie and Becky, which color pair do you hope to receive in the Glimmer Gauntlet?
Yes, for those of you who haven't seen, both of us have been announced as competitors in the Glimmer Gauntlet.
Boop, 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 boop.
Becky's busting out the best dance moves. I'm sorry you can't see it.
I'm just raising the roof. It's nothing. It's nothing dramatic.
And for those of you who don't recall, this is a tournament for content creators. We're doing it for charity. Each content creator is going to get an ink combination assigned to them, and they can only use rare and lower to build their deck. So, which color pairs you hope to receive? So, first, I do want to say I'm excited to be assigned a pair because typically when I go to tournaments, I waste so much time going back and forth trying to decide what to play. So, I kind of like being forced into something here. I'm
Mhm.
into it.
It's legit.
I've thought about this a little more than last week. I think I want Amethyst almost definitely because we got the whole bounce package in there. You know, we got the fox and the rabbit and the goat. So that's there. And then if we look at Emerald, we still have pretty much all of the discard packages there. The Prince John's there, Lucifer's there, Daisy's there, Flynn Rider's there, Sudden Chill's there, legit discard deck and Emerald. So I think that would be my dream combination would be Amethyst Emerald. And then also I was thinking if we look at Ruby, Be Prepared is rare. Like Dragonfire is still there. Maui, like is Ruby Amethyst still like a major deck, rare or lower?
It sounds like it, honestly.
I think it might be.
Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
What about you? Have you thought?
Well, I play Amber Sapphire as my main,
Hmm.
so that's kind of my wheelhouse. I would like, well, I also like being assigned something. I kind of like the idea of playing something I've never played before, though. Like, Katie, I have never, and I mean never, made a deck that had Ruby in it. Ever.
What? How is that possible?
I don't know. It just, those cards do not resonate with me. They have never been in my deck. So I kind of like the idea of being forced to play something new. I think would be fun. I like working within parameters. I think that's when my creative spirit really shines.
For sure.
Shiny Horus asks, will Kitty and Becky share their cards to fill out their decks before the gauntlet?
No.
What the? You have to.
I'm totally kidding. Yeah, you can have whatever you want, but also it's rare or lower, so I don't think you're gonna need that much. But yeah, you can have whatever you want.
Probably not. And I'll borrow from you. And if I can't get it from you, which I sure I can. Oh yeah, you can also borrow from me. I'm sure I can get them for decent prices elsewhere. And I'm sure some of our league friends would definitely let us borrow if we needed
Oh,
them.
Hundo P. That's it. We got through our listener questions. Thank you, everybody, for those great questions.
Katie, I think this is going to be a terrible episode to edit, and I'm sorry.
We've had worse.
Have we? Because we talk over each other. I talk over you constantly this episode.
We always do.
Okay. Well, I felt it a lot this time.
Oh, I think it's about average.
Oh, good. And now it's time for our featured creator.
Okay, so I have to stop and give a thank you before I say the featured creator because our very good friend Rebecca from Lorcana Luminary is the queen of Instagram. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, are there any content creators on Instagram that I should be following? And she gave me a whole list. And one of the content creators today was on that list. Our featured creator is Natalia Lorcana. This is an adorable Instagram account run by Natalia, who just seems like the sweetest, most positive person ever. Her videos always make me smile. She has a ton of reels on her Instagram page that share information about her Lorcana journey. She shares her search for product, pack openings, her collection. She also has some funny stuff on there. Like, definitely go check it out. I am sure she will brighten your day.
So be sure to check out Natalia Lorcana on Instagram and TikTok.
All right, well, we talked about a lot today. So let's get you back to your beautiful children. Take us home.
Um,
Well,
well, that's our episode, guys. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Check us out on YouTube for this, but on YouTube, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And also, we have a really fun Discord. And if you're not in it, you really should be. What are you waiting for? Come on. And that's it.
and until next time, remember to live, laugh, and lore.